welcome to yoga. My name is Sunny and I'll be your instructor today. And if you were with me on the last video that we did for yoga, you'll notice a lot of it was core, abs, back, strengthening, lovely strengthening stuff. Well, today we're going to be doing the counter poses that help take those nice strengthening moves that we did and lengthen them out again. So when you have a pose, you have a counter pose. Where you have a twist, you have a pose to release that twist. Where you have abs, where everything is kind of coming forward and center, you want to take that center and lengthen it back again. So if you have a block, that's going to come in handy. If you don't, you can use another rolled up yoga mat. If you're one of those people that keeps your phone books, this could be a reason why you still have a phone book, is to use it as a yoga block. So we're just going to start off. Well, I'm going to take my block to my dominant hand side of my mat just so it'll be easier to grab. Then I'm going to come on down to my back. And I'm not even going to be picky about how you get there, because we're just starting. So let's reach those fingertips up overhead and reach those toes. Oh, down toward the end of the mat. And you could take a big breath in. Ooh. And as you breathe it out, we'll just float those arms down. And let's just pay attention to our breath, the most important part of yoga. We'll notice if the breath feels deep or shallow. Notice if your breath is warm or cool. And notice if it's smooth or jagged. And with that next breath, I'm going to take my block into my dominant hand. I'm going to walk my feet flat on the mat. And I'm going to lift my hips and my spine to slide my block right under my sacrum. So we're looking for that place at the base of the skull. I mean the spine. It's shaped like this. So we've got our sacrum. And we've got our block. And if you want more of a back bend, you can take this block and flip it to the taller side. And if you still wish you had more back bend, you can flip it to the highest side. And when you're moving through this, you can also decide if you've gone too far and you would like to back it off a little bit, because you will always have the option to deepen your back bend by extending the legs and taking the arms up overhead. So if you took it to the third level, you may choose to keep your feet flat on the mat and the arms alongside. You may choose to flip it back down to a middle size back bend and take it more like this. You may find that your sacrum really enjoys the support of the flat side of that block. So we have like 6 different supported back bends we could be right here. So just find the one that works for you today. We want this low back supported while we let this front side lengthen out. Because that's a good thing about back bends. As wonderful as they are for your spine and your back, they're wonderful for your front, for opening and elongated the side of our body that spends so much time moving forward and crunching over. Then we can walk the feet flat on the mat if they're not already there. We can flip that block down to the lowest side if it's not already there. Then we can reach the feet up toward the ceiling and we'll roll it out, making circles with the legs. Then at the top of the circle, roll it the other way. And we'll bring it back to center. Release the feet to the mat. We'll lift the hips and slide the block out from under. And we'll set the hips down on the mat again. And we can rock those knees side to side. And we'll bring it back to center. Then we're gonna roll up to seated, and I'll show you where we're going with our block next. I'm gonna take my block, and these are where my shoulder blades are. This is where they are. I'm gonna bring my block down to the back of my rib cage, so right below my shoulder blades. Then I'm gonna come on back and we'll just move that supported back bend up the spine. And you can feel the rib cage open up and you can feel those intercostal muscles expand and lengthen. And again, you can make this block as low or as high as you'd like. If you're feeling like you need more lengthening through the front side, just take your block up to the next level. And when you found that right place for your back bend, let's take another breath. Then we'll gently help ourselves up and we'll scooch that block over to the side. We'll wait and see if we need it again. Let's reach those fingertips up overhead and reach those toes down. And we'll bring those knees in and rock it to the side and to the other side. Then we'll roll all the way to the right side. And help ourselves on up to seated. So we know we've got the back bending thing about the spine working just fine. Now let's check out the other directions the spine should be able to move, and we'll make sure they're doing that too. So we'll inhale it up, and we'll right hand it down, and lengthen, and fold. And we'll take it up, and twist to the right. And we'll lengthen and twist to the left. Oh, let's take that twist again. Twists are great counter poses for big back bends. So just remember that if you're ever just around the house back bending, do a couple of twists. We'll take it up, release, and roll out those shoulders. You can roll out the neck too, if that feels productive and useful for you. Then let's bring the soles of the feet together. And we'll sit up tall. Optional, you can fold forward. Then we'll lift back up. And we'll get our Janu Shirshasana in for the day, which goes like this. Extending the right leg, we'll bring that foot in. We'll sit tall, take a turn, and fold right over. And we'll inhale it up, reach up, and twist. And release that. And we'll switch it up. We'll lengthen and twist and fold. Then we'll lift on up. We'll reach out and up and take our twist the other way. And we'll release that. We'll take both legs out to a wide angle. We'll lengthen the spine and fold over however far that goes. And we'll lift up. We'll bring the legs together, shake them out, wiggle the toes. Then let's bring those feet in and roll on over to hands and knees. And we'll rock it side to side. And back to center. Let's come on back to child's pose. let's bring it forward. We'll tuck our toes and just shift those hips toward the wrists. And we'll come into a nice supported back bend. We'll inhale it up and take it back. And we'll just move with our breath. And let's take one more round. And let's come on back. Then with that next breath, we're gonna come on up to a kneeling position. And I'm gonna turn so I can use my entire mat. So with my next breath, I'm gonna inhale it up. And I'm gonna take that right hand down, extend that left leg. We'll lengthen out that side. We can float that leg up, and you can bend the knee to reach for that ankle. We'll add a little back bend to our strength pose. Then let's get long again. And we'll use that top hand to help lift us up. Then inhale and take it to the other side. Lengthen out that whole side. And we can float that leg up, reach for the ankle. And let's open up the front side of that body. Then we'll get long again. And take it on up. And we can take that again to each side. So we'll lengthen and take it down. Then float that leg up. We can reach for it. And we'll lengthen again and take it up. And let's inhale. And exhale. And we'll float it up. And let's bend the knee, reach for the ankle. Use that to open up the front side of the body. And we'll get long and we'll get strong. And let's take it back to the center of the mat. Then for our next sequence, there's lots of places you can be. I'm gonna walk you through it and pick your place that you wanna be. I'm gonna turn so that you can see my back, because this is where most of the stuff happens. So I'm gonna start with my toes tucked. And I'm gonna inhale it up. And I'm gonna bring my hands to my low back. That's gonna help me keep my low back stable. As I lengthen that out, I'll lift my heart. And we'll inhale it up and exhale down to a child's pose. And I will bring it back up. This time I'm going to turn to the side so you can see what this part of that back bend is doing, that camel back bend. And again, I'm going to start with my toes tucked on this one. And I'm going to lengthen. And I'm going to bring my hands to my low back. I'm going to find that length in my low back. And I'm going to lift my heart and come on back. Now, as you can see, I've still got my hips stacked on top of my knees. There's a tendency to really want to shove that forward, but see if you can keep this long and let the back bend happen at the upper back, which you can encourage by reaching for the heels. Then we'll help ourselves back up, and let's take a little release and our child's pose. And you'll have an opportunity to deepen this if that sounds like a thing you want to do. So you can start with your toes tucked. And if it turns out you want to deepen it, you'll just end up dropping the tops of the feet to the mat. So we'll all start off on this together. We'll get long. We'll bring the hands to the low back and we'll drop the tailbone. Lift your heart and you can reach back for the heels. If it turns out you want to take this further, tops of the feet to the mat and reach back for the heels again. And when you're done, help yourself up. Let's bring the hands to the mat and lift those hips back in down dog. Lengthen out all those back bends. Then we'll lower on down and back to child's pose. Then we'll come on up. And if you need a sip of water, here's a good time to take one, but not too much water because we're going onto our bellies. So from our child's pose, we'll turn to down dog and we'll shift forward to plank. We'll take a breath and come halfway down, then all the way down to your belly. Now, there will be lots and lots of ways that you can add on to this next sequence if you want to. So when you find a place where you can breathe well and you are happy, you don't have to go any further if you don't want to. So keep that in mind. We'll start by reaching our fingertips forward and our toes back. Then with our inhale, we'll float the hands up. Exhale, float the feet up. We'll reach back. Find that strength as we inhale a little higher and lower down. And we'll walk the hands forward, reach the toes back. We'll inhale the hands up, then float the feet up, then reach back. We can float a little higher if you want. And lower down. And we'll add on one more if you'd like. We're moving all the way into Dhanurasana or bow pose. So that's up to you if you want to go that far. I'll walk you through it. So we'll get long first. We'll inhale to float the hands up. Exhale the feet up. Reach back. If your arms are feeling long, you can reach for your ankles. If you've got your ankles, flex your feet back toward your shins. And we can lift a little higher if you want. We'll take a breath and lower down. And one more time, so here we go. We'll start by getting long. We'll reach those toes back. We'll inhale the hands up and then float the feet up. Reach on back. You can reach for the ankles. Flex your feet. We'll float a little higher if you got it. And we'll take another breath. And we'll lower down. And let's bend the knees and rock the feet side to side. And we'll rock it back up to the middle. We'll release the feet to the mat. Let's slide the hands right underneath the shoulders. Inhale to plank. Exhale back to down dog and feel those deep back bends lengthen out. Then we'll lower the knees. And we'll roll onto one hip and take the legs forward. Then let's bring that right foot over the left leg. If you want to, you can take that left heel and bring it back toward the opposite hip. That is if two sitting bones remain on the mat when you do that. If you bring that left leg back and you find you're sitting like this, straighten that bottom leg out again. And now I've got two hips on the mat. So pick where you want to be. And we'll lengthen. Then turn toward your knee. And we'll twist. Then we'll release that one. Unravel that leg. We'll take it to the other side. Left foot comes up and over. You can keep the right leg extended or bring it back. We'll sit tall and take a twist. And when you're done, we'll take a breath and release it on the exhale. We'll unravel the legs and we'll scooch it up to the front of the mat. And let's extend the arms. We'll take an inhale. And we'll exhale to roll down. Halfway there, take another breath. And gently lower all the way to the mat. And reach those fingertips up overhead. Reach those toes down toward the end. And we'll take a big breath. And with that exhale, take the knees into center. We'll rock it side to side. And when you're ready, we'll bring it back to center, arms out to a T. Stack those knees on top of the hips. Rock it side to side. Excuse me. And then float your knees all the way over to the right side. Twist to one side. And we'll bring it back up to center. And we'll rock it side to side if that's still okay on your low back. And we'll float it to the other side. And we'll take another breath. And we'll use that exhale to lift up to center. And let's extend the legs down the mat. Float the arms down alongside us. And we'll take a big breath in. And breathe it out completely. We'll deepen our breath with the next inhale. We'll begin to move around again. And roll on over to your right side. And we'll come on up to seated. And let's breathe in together one more time. We'll complete our practice. With our inhale, we'll reach out and up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Bow toward your heart, honoring yourself, honoring each other, and honoring the practice. Namaste. Oh, thanks so much. Stay healthy, stay fit. Go Pokes.